Um, in the mean- in the meantime, I'm gonna put Jelena on the spot. Maybe she has already a little bit of information. You've been maybe looking at the data slightly. Just 2 minutes that you have to entertain everyone with some information on the data.
Okay, I do have a full presentation about birds prepared if you want to start with that.
Yeah, actually, we do that, right?
So we can do that, but yeah. So yeah, actually it was quite interesting. I have, hi everybody. So I'm Jelena. I usually every year do some things here, particularly I try to get the information about which birds were observed in bioblitzes and where, and to get some interesting information about them. So yeah, I'll do it this year too, and I will share my screen now so that you can see which bird observations did we have this year, and I think they were quite cool. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes, I do.
All right, perfect, nice. So yeah, this is now I every year try to choose kind of like the winners of the most observed birds during the bioblitzes, and kind of really cool is that every year we have repeating results somehow. There's always the snowy egret, the Brazilian flycatcher, and a spotted sandpiper there, which I think is pretty cool. And what this year we kind of have this yellow crowned night heron and gray-tailed grackle. Grackles are really cool. I encourage here to see that there's a lot of legends and myths in Colombia. I forgot the legend exactly, but it seemed like it is connected and that people worshipped this bird because of its great intelligence and adaptability. And so yeah, we had these 5 winners with around 42 patients, let's say, of these birds, which I think is really nice. But I would like to compare with how this is compared to the previous years. So we start, like, at least since I have this, it's 2020, and I think that the numbers of bird species are actually quite impressive. We can see here that from like between the years, this is the same kind of percentage of the species that we have found with birds. So this year we actually had 337. So like the numbers are always quite the same. And I was thinking about this, and it's actually quite impressive to think about how birds are so prominent and how there is so many more plants and insects in the world. Vertebrates compose 1% of the whole biodiversity and the number of described species. And in bioblitzes, we have found a pretty good amount of species of birds. And it is over proportional in comparison to the actual numbers of described living species, but I think it is really nice that this is like a very charismatic group of animals that people are observing during the bioblitzes. And I think that mostly these results, like from each year to each year, they are actually very consistent, and even in individual species. So I have to look into this a bit deeper, but for example, with some endangered species, I have noticed that they have been observed from one year to another. Like I was kind of looking over through my presentations, and I think they were even observed at the same spots, so through the same like bioblitzes. So I chose here to kind of show you some results that are more focused on protected or threatened species of birds. There were, as I said already, 337, but a lot of them, actually 22, were protected or threatened species. And one of these is this loggerhead shrike. And all these species are kind of decreasing or declining in the America. And the loggerhead shrike subspecies some of them have become already locally extinct, and this species was observed in Nuevo León, Mexico, and I think this was the same spot for the last year. I don't know exactly, but if somebody is here from last year that had observed the loggerhead shrike, they can kind of drop a comment in a chat. Then we had this also near threatened bird by IUCN. This is the olive-sided flycatcher. They are they are endangered, and their numbers are decreasing because of the canopy height. So because they need this tall canopy, they do not have spaces to nest anymore. And the interesting fact about this bird is that it has like the longest migration of all flycatchers in the US. So these birds are breeding also in Alaska. And so this one individual traveled 7,000 miles. I don't know how much is that in kilometers, but it traveled from Alaska to Bolivia, which is quite impressive for a very tiny bird. We had also some really cool species, like I have first time heard about this bird, Chuck-Will's widow, very interesting name, and it's in the family of nightjars. It eats insects and small birds and bats sometimes, and it just swallows them whole. But and very little is known about this bird and about nightjars in general, since they are so nocturnal. It's very hard to kind of follow their behavior and to track them, but there is some research, and their habitat is being destructed during migration, but also in their breeding ranges because of the use of pesticides. And very cool, this bird was observed here in Miami in somebody's garden. I think I saw a picture of a feather, and then the feather got identified as the feather from the Chuck-Will's widow. Another near threatened bird was the black-capped vireo. These birds are also endangered, and the numbers are declining. And interestingly, they have been parasitized. So they say that the main cause of their decline is the brood parasitism by brown-headed cowbird. So these cowbirds, they just lay their eggs into another bird's nest. So if you see here, this is the nest of this black-capped vireo, and these two tiny chicks, they are the chicks of the black-capped vireo, but this big boy here, this chunky one, is the chick of the brown-headed cowbird. And so I don't think this is the main reason, because the birds, they were cuckoos, and cowbirds always existed, and they were putting the eggs in other nests. But it is because the human disturbance that now these black-capped vireos, they are losing the habitats. So they are more often in the habitats of the cowbirds, where they can lay the eggs in the nests. And also because during migration and the wintering sites, they are not so good. So these vireos, they cannot start laying early to avoid being parasitized by the cowbirds, right? There's also some livestock grazing and bush control. Apparently, there's some control of the different bushes that they need, cutting of the bushes that they need to breed in. Also, we had the Peruvian pelican. I really like pelicans. They really look cool. They are also near threatened. And they say the main reason for their declines is something like competition for food with increasing number of fisheries. And I can see how that can happen. They heavily rely on fish for their diet. We had one vulnerable species, which is super cute, and that was this Mexican wood nymph. Again, there is a lot of loss of habitat and deforestation, but the problem is that there is very little information about the natural history of these birds, so it's really hard to kind of put any conservation measures in place. And so they look really pretty. They have sexual dimorphism, and they also really shine. There's a lot of other birds and species that are threatened by pesticides, such as peregrine falcon and other raptors that are also endangered or vulnerable to a lot of human-made threats. Then, as every year, we had an array of kingfishers, which is really impressive, and they are kind of like river protectors, right? We had a green-ringed and kingfisher, belted kingfisher, and like a regular kingfisher. And this is a second year when we have something as a kingfisher that is from the group of 3 kingfishers. They are widely distributed through tropical Asia. So this collared kingfisher, that's a 3 kingfisher, and they nest in 3 holes, in termite nests sometimes, or woodpecker holes, which is quite interesting. Last year we had a different species of the 3 kingfishers. We had some shiny friends, as every year, a lot of hummingbirds. There's around 9 observations, but we had like the giant hummingbird, for example, Anna's hummingbird, so all our, I think this is quite a lot of observation of hummingbirds. Then we had some birds with some interesting behaviors, such as kleptoparasitism. I really like this type of behavior in birds. They are, so for example, these frigate birds, they are kleptoparasites, which means that they are stealing the food from other birds. And how they do it is they peck at the other birds while they are eating the meals, and the other birds are forced to kind of throw up what they ate, and then they steal it. The frigate birds steal it, and they have this very impressive display with this red throat here. I want to say that I'm a big fan of one group of birds, and that is shorebirds. Like, I think they had their share of observations this year, which is really cool. Shorebirds are really interesting in their mating systems and in their behaviors, and there's a variety of them, and they are great migrants. This year we had a lot, which, for example, some of them, like dowitchers or wimbrels, they are all kind of declining in their numbers. The plovers too. And we had some shorebirds that are especially fun, like phalaropes. We had 2 species this year, Wilson's phalarope and red phalarope. They have this sex role reversal, where actually females are more colored than males, and females are the ones that are polygamous, and they are breeding and they are mating with multiple males over the season. So yes, here on these pictures on the left side, these are all female birds of the phalaropes. They also have a really cool behavior. So especially the Wilson's phalarope, they are very halophilic, so they really like salty water. And I'm gonna try to play you this video of how they feed, which I think it's quite nice. So they like run in circle, like not run, but yeah. So they circle in like some higher speed, and then they get food from the bottom to the top, kind of. So, and then they point their beak into this like kind of whirlpool that they created, and they are getting the food out. And so this could be like, there are these 3, but there's so many just circling around until their head spins. Yeah, I don't know how they do this. Yeah, and then I think that's it. I just would like to finish with some thoughts about why is this important, and especially with shorebirds, and not only shorebirds, but a lot of birds are being declined or getting declined because of they are losing their habitats all over Europe and Americas. And a lot of grassland and shorebirds, they are affected by this. So around 600 million breeding birds have been lost only in the European Union since 1980s. And the highest losses were seen amongst farmland and grassland birds. And more than half of the populations of shorebirds in Europe, West Asia, and Africa are declining at an accelerating rate because they are losing their habitats, their breeding habitats, but also their migratory habitats, and they cannot have the migratory stopovers anymore. And these shorebirds, they are pretty big travelers. So some of the shorebirds travel like enormous distances during their migrations. And yeah, so a lot of birds are specialists, the river specialists, and they up to 23% of all bird species use freshwaters, rivers, to complete a part of their life cycle. Some of them breed there, some of them they don't. They use river for just a stopover. And with birds, they have diverse life histories, breeding habits, and they are very important for the ecosystem, for the river ecosystem as well. So I think this year we had like really great observations, and I would like to end with this, and hopefully next year we'll have similar amount. I think this is pretty great. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Elena. I'm sure there's some question from someone. Let's see.
I just have a comment actually.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually very interesting how species are changing their behavior. In this case, this bird that you are mentioning, and this is just an alarm that actually we as humans are aware of all the damage that we're doing to the whole ecosystem. But species who could not talk, actually they are just taking the option just to change these behaviors so they can keep still reproducing, you know.
Yeah. So that's with I completely agree. A lot of species have to change their migratory behaviors and dispersal distances and have to find new habitats to live, which is difficult because they are always new and unpredictable. But yeah, and with the phalaropes, it's that they are just like that. So they have this sex role reversal because this is how they
That's right.
do.
And we humans, we are so we adapt actually to everything really fast compared to wild species.
Yeah, totally. Yes, I agree. Hello, everyone. Can you please repeat the name of the little bird that travels from Alaska to Bolivia? It's olive-sided warbler. I think it's olive-sided warbler. It's no, sorry, it's a flycatcher. It cannot be a warbler. It's a flycatcher. I'm just gonna read the name quickly. Yeah, olive-sided flycatcher. I can write it also here.
Nice. Yeah, Jelena, I think you are, out of all people, the one that actually knows why there are so many bird observations, even though it's just 1% of all the observations that could be there, no? Because you're a very avid bird watcher yourself. And I think it's like birds just catch so much attention, no?
Yeah, I think it's also easy to observe them. So for example, the real world is that there's 1% vertebrates and there's so many species of beetles, right? But it's so much harder to observe them, and the birds are really charismatic species that it's recognizable visually, but also with the sound, and you don't have to go to great lengths to catch them, or like, I don't know, get into water, or you don't even need to catch them at all to be able to identify them sometimes. So yeah. But I really think this is really good because every year, as I said, we had some similar repeating birds, and I really hope I'll be able to check actually how repeatable is that.
Yeah, I was a bit sad, like we went out and we had a pretty spontaneous bioblitz in the end, because we were supposed to be on the Marignon, but we took out earlier by kayaks, blah blah, and we ended up being Cajamarca, and we joined a bioblitz, and we saw this, like a friend was really excited to see the, oh, now I should know it, the white-bellied comet, I think. Either way, we saw it. We were like really happy, but impossible to take a photo, no? So
yeah. That's a problem, because sometimes the iNaturalist, like if you don't have a photo, you won't get the research grade because or an audio, because you need to upload this for people to confirm. So even though, for example, if you're completely sure you've seen a species, or like even some common species like great tit or blue tit here in Europe, it's the iNaturalist won't make it as a verified grade. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky there, but I think there's still a lot of data.
Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot, Jelena, for this overview. It's super nice. In the meantime, we have confirmation that Jens mixed up dates. Also, apologies from our side, changing the date so last minute. It's been a bit of figuring out how to do it with people being in different places. So Jens is not joining us today, but Antonio is at the very moment just tuning in. So we will have Antonia with us. In the meantime, Jens had prepared some people that would also give a presentation, but they might also not join. But tomorrow there's the hackathon, no? So tomorrow, whomever is joining, we can dive into the data a bit more. I'll talk a bit about that later. But for now, it's anyway the moment to really share experience about the Home River Bioblitz. Antonia, you made it, I see.
Yes.
Yay. Thanks for your
Hi,
flexibility.
everybody. How are you guys? I am in a coffee. I'm sorry. I'm not prepared. Since it's have a confusion with the day
Yeah, sorry
of
about
meeting.
that. Thanks for still
You
being
hear
able
me?
to join. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna share the screen. I mean, you gonna talk now, if I remember, of River Collective and all this atlas of rivers of the world. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so actually we have about 10 people that made a presentation, like that made a slide with a collage of the Home River Bioblitz. And I'd like to have them present it. I put them all in one big slideshow, so
Oh,
I'm going to
perfect,
start
perfect,
presenting those. And if you in the meantime
perfect.
can gather that information and start creating a map from that. That was kind of the idea.
Okay, okay. Share the screen,
so I will share the screen if that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I hate how it's always now impossible to go to my slideshow. I think it's this one. Okay, so I've put all the slides that we got through WhatsApp and through email together. So I'm gonna go through them, and if that person is there, please share a bit of your thoughts in like a minute or something. Which would first be the I don't see the river name here. But the Mekong River in Thailand. Is somebody here that could present this slide?
Sorry, Vera. This slide is from Pyop from Thailand, and he told me he has some health issues, so he won't be here. But we can maybe dive into the image a little bit.
Totally. Yeah, I can just comment a bit on what we see now. And I think that's gonna be cool throughout all those slides, like how different the rivers are in the world. It's clearly like quite a flat, wide river, no? People living right at the side of it, which wouldn't be possible at some other rivers. People fishing. So it seems like they saw the black chin tilapia. I don't know if that's a fish that's supposed to be there. I hope it is, because I also saw quite some people that that found invasive species. No, they did some research on the biodiversity on the small animals. I would say on the macroinvertebrates. Looks like they involved quite a lot of children. So if I see the slide, I think that was a super cool day altogether. I'll go to the next one, which is in Italy. Do we have someone?
It's me. Sorry, my camera isn't working, but I'm here. So yes, this was the Home River Bioblitz in Italy, so in the River Brenta. And it was a great day. We had a lot of children also participating. I don't recall the name specifically of the species that we found, but there were a lot of different types of butterflies and also frogs. And overall, it was a great experience because people had never done something like this, and everyone was really engaged in the activity. We had more than 100 observations, and yes, they were extremely happy with the day.
Sorry, I was muted. Also quite a wide river, no?
Sorry?
Also quite a wide river, like a big river.
Yeah, it's pretty big, yes.
Cool. Excited that you've done one. this was your first time you did a Bioblitz as well, no?
Yes, this was our first time that we tried it and we really enjoyed it. So we hope in the future we can do it again.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Okay, the Kitale Home River Bioblitz in Africa. Do we have
Yes,
some- Yes. Hi.
hi. So, yeah, this was our second Home River Bioblitz in Kitale, Kenya, Africa. So we were with a group of children from between 5 to 10 to 12 years old. They call themselves Young Earth Warriors. There are some citizen scientists, the upcoming one. So it happened in a river between a tributary river to River Nzoia, which tends to Lake Victoria. And one of the highlights was this worm known as the lichenachai, yeah, going a form of a mold, yeah. And then we used foldscopes to visualize some of the organisms that we could spot from these waters, and there was also to show the biodiversity and the richness of the streams connecting to this big river. They had some flowers, the morning glory flowers in them. And a quick question, there's a foldscope picture of an insect here. Any guess what it is? It was made by one of the children. Any guess?
Wow. Anyone?
So yeah, are you looking at microscopes? So you're talking about the yellow thing, right?
Yeah. No, the green, yeah, okay. The circle after our name, alongside there's a circle insect there through the microscope, the full scope.
Hey, can I
Okay,
quickly
so-
ask? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
So those the microscopes kind of know you put something in there and then you hold it against the light, or is it getting something from further closer to you?
No, you put a specimen inside. There is a slide inside it. Then we hold them towards the light to view it. It's a pocket-friendly foldscope. Works normally like the other big microscope. So for children, it's easy to assess and easy to walk around viewing different specimens and species of different organisms.
Yeah, that's such a cool tool, huh?
Yeah, so looking forward to our 2024 Bioblitz. That will be a third one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, our question, the foldscope, the view from the foldscope, this was an insect, a small grasshopper that was within the area between this small stream that's connected to the big river. So it was one of the insects they saw along it. They saw in the stream and they decided, let me test it what it is. And so, yeah, I can't remember exactly the name, but it is in our iNaturalist app, in our project. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Really cool. Okay, the Berkel Home River Bioblitz in the Netherlands. Anyone there? Okay, I
Vera?
like my task. Yeah.
This is from Netherlands, I think, from the Wageningen University, and Catalina sent a message that she is in a meeting. So yeah, just dive into it a little bit.
Cool. I like my task of needing to interpret the slides. Does anyone here see what kind of fishes and beasts are on that left photo? Is there somebody that is more a biologist than I am?
I have no idea. Remember that many species are really, really different from one place to another. And in this case, probably more different from one continent to another. So I have no clue.
Right.
Yeah, me neither. I was never really a fish girl.
Only the bird girl, huh? No, we need it. Even though I'm from the Netherlands, this should be the one knowing, but not going to be able to
Oh
help
yeah,
much.
that's true.
Either it seems like they didn't only collect biodiversity data, no, but they also had a moment to use, I think this is like this blue kind of paint that starts to get blue when you put water on it. Not sure, but it looks like super cool experimenting with biodiversity and art. And they had a bit of a mapping session as well. And if I understand correctly, so she is actually doing a PhD at Wageningen University, comparing the situation in the Berkel with a situation somewhere in Colombia, if I'm correct, on a policy level, things as well. So I'm sure it's been a bit of a comparison with this river in Colombia as well, which is, as you said just now, no, the rivers are so different and biodiversity is so different in different places, but still there's also a lot of comparisons and a lot of things that are similar. So quite a cool challenge to try and get the similarities across continents. No? Cool. Thailand again.
Hi, this is from Bang Bakong River.
Yes.
And hello, this is Ma'am from Bang Bakong River, Thailand. This year is our second year to join Home River Bioblitz. And as Bang Bakong River is about 231 kilometers long, this year we have 2 days for two spots. The first day we set the spot about in the middle of the river, which is Cha Cheong Sao. And the second day we go upper to the beginning of the river in Prajinburi. And we have about 80 people come join us. Lots of them are families with kids and some school students from the local school. And the first day we have kayaking and walk along the broad walk. And the second day is like walk along the river and cross the bit and try to explore everything around there. As you can see, we have many kids come join us and they really enjoy have the net in their hand and scooping some tiny creature like in a dish and dyke bitternut orchard that is connected to the river. And let's talk about the species that we have want to talk about. The first species is flying fox. That is like live in the temple, which is like a small private sanctuary, because in the temple they like guarding by the Buddha. Nobody go to threaten them. So that is how the bats live, like in the middle of the city. So they live in the temple by the river. And the second one is red whisker boo-boo, which is a protected species under the Wildlife Preservation and Conservation Act of Thailand. We found it in the wetland forest up the river in Prajinburi. So this is good to see them there. And next is Nipa palm. When you come to Thailand, to the Bang Bakong River or the river like Mekong, you will see Nipa palm along the river. And as many people still use it in daily life, they use the leaf and stem to make like ribbon and make loaf. And some still eat fruit, some still make the package of the sticky rice, like here. So when people know that this species or this palm is usable, so they try to use it and preserve it to use for a long time. And another important thing of the benefit of Nipa palm is they help about the riverbank erosion. So if local people see Nipa palm, they will try to keep them there. They will not cut them down. And next we will talk about the fish. On the left corner is the blue spot mudskipper. This one is very surprised me because I have not seen it for quite a long time at the middle of the river. Now today we will find them a lot at the mouth of the river, which near the Gulf of Thailand, but not much in the middle of the river. So I'm not sure that if it relates to the pandemic or not, because this is like the first time after many years that I have not seen it. And this is like the first time after many years that I have not spotted this blue spot mudskipper in the middle of the river. Next is archer fish. This one is quite common. They live like in blackish water and fresh water. So if you go to the restaurant near the river in Thailand, you can find it easily. And the last one is black shark minnow. This one we spotted from the fisherman who fishing at the upper river. It's a freshwater fish, so we not found it in the middle. We have seen it in the upper river, and this one is quite common up there. And this event, I want to thank Home River Bioblitz to have this event, because in this year, there's another team, which is Mr. Tom from Bangkok, who registered to set up the Home River Bioblitz in Bang Bakong River too. So this year is the first time that we come and work together. Thank you for this event to bring us together for this event, because I have known him online for quite some time, but this is the first time that we work together. Thank you so much. Any question?
Any questions from Mane? I should know your name. Sorry.
My name is Mem.
Man.
Yes,
Thank you
Money
so
is my
much for
full name.
this. Amazing. And thanks for sharing also that experience of how it actually connected you to somebody that you've been wanting to connect to for longer. And I think that's like kind of the power also, no, that through the love of river and through like searching for that biodiversity that we all got connected. And really impressive how you like, I think it was really cool, went to different places throughout the weekend, no? It's definitely something to keep in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. So then we go over to Uadec. I think that's in Chile, no? Am I correct here? Trying to read the... Is there somebody?
Isn't it Coahuila?
I think that's in Saltillo. Pedro Davila, I think, is coordinating that. I don't know.
Yeah, Saltillo, Coahuila, Mexico. I think. Not really sure.
Yeah, Uadec, it's Mexico. Do we have somebody here?
I am pretty sure that it's not in Chile. I don't know the species.
Oh, really? Okay, let's say it's Mexico then. Seems like those were also quite bird fanatics, no? If I see the amount of birds here. Clearly also the vermilion flycatcher, that's everywhere. Sure you have it in Chile as well, no? The vermilion flycatcher. But the rest...
Yeah, there's a black phoebe up there on this like upper corner. That was also quite often. Yeah, some crustaceans that are like I don't know what is that under, but there's also there's a hummingbird. I don't know which one, and a finch under the hummingbird. Yeah, this is a pretty butterfly.
Really cool
pretty
cactus,
old
right?
butterfly.
Pretty old butterfly, yeah. Beautiful.
And
a really cool group photo. Quite some people out there. Sorry, I have to sometimes turn off my sound because there's like cars going by and stuff. And have the first-hand report. But let's see what we have next. Realiseren Arais Outland. I think we have somebody present here.
Is anybody besides me who wants to talk about it? Yes, no? Well,
You go for it.
let me talk about it a little bit about this event. My name is Abad from El Grullo in Jalisco, Mexico. And actually, this is my first time participating in this project. I know that it has been working in the region for 3 years now. And I didn't have time to take part of it before, but now I was invited and I was so glad I took part of this project. I'm really excited. So I just want to continue doing it, like if possible, more than once a year, you know? Let me tell you a little bit about this. This college actually includes a little bit of from the 4 creeks that we work on. There was one called Ahuacapan, which I believe it was the first river or creek that took part from the Home River Bioblitz. Then the next year was added another, and in this year actually we worked on 4 creeks. 2 one day on the 23rd and 2 on the 24th. So first one is Ahuacapan. Second one is El Coajinque. Third one is El Cangrejo. And the fourth one, which is actually in different municipality, which is El Grullo, is El Tigre. Actually, we had recorded about 1,000 observations within the 4 places, actually, not only one. And out of those 1,000 observations, around 500 different species, which means that we actually were so lucky living in a very rich area in Mexico. However, there's a lot of concern as well, because in this area we have a lot of activities that actually damage the ecosystem, especially the water ecosystem. But let's see. Let's get a little bit positive about what we did here. We also included kids. However, from a personal point of view, we should focus these events more on young people, because I believe they are the ones that can actually get a little bit conscious about how to preserve all the ecosystem. As you can see in the image, we saw a lot of birds. On the right upper side, there's a footprint from a raccoon. Also, if you check down below on the right side as well, we saw aquatic insects. And right in the middle, we can see an emerald beetle. About the activities that we carried on was taking samples of water to see what is the water quality on each one of the rivers. And actually they were taken in the same river, like in 2 or 3 different points to check what the quality water was on each one. As well, we had help from different specialists in different fields, like on birds, botanics, and water, and also what else will we do? I think I'm forgetting one, but after being this my first time taking part of it, I'm so excited, and so is the people that took part of it, that they even want to expand in the same region here, because we have a lot of small creeks, so they want to be leaders next season. So I'm so excited for that, and that's what I want to share. I don't know if somebody from the team wants to share something else.
I think you've done a really good presentation, and that was a really good sharing of the experience, no? Maybe Anya?
Well, we are so happy and very thankful for all the leaders in the town of Autlán, Jalisco, Mexico. From El Coajinque, Lancy, from Aguacapan, David, from El Tigre, Abad and Claudia, and from El Cangrejo, which is now a river that is suffering from a disaster. And we're working on making some announcement about how important it is to conserve the river in order to adapt and be resilient to these new disasters of floods and landslide. So we are working on that, and for that quick, Claudia and Fatima is working on that. So we are a team, and we want to keep working on rivers, and we are so happy to be a part of the Home River Bioblitz too. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
That's something really important that Anja mentioned, that after the second day of these activities, actually on the 24th, Claudia and some other people visited El Cangrejo, which probably you by now already know that there was some a really big I don't know how to call it, if natural disaster or not, because a lot of people don't like to say that disasters are not actually natural. Those are just part of it's not natural. But let's see, we had a really big disaster right in one of the creeks that we worked on, and actually, it's really, really sad. Lives are lost, houses lost, floodings, and all that. But as Anja said, we are trying to work on this and help as much as we can on it.
Yeah, indeed, very sad news to get that now. Shows also the power.
It was the very next day after we took the Bioblitz that happened a very big flood in Autlán, and families were lost in this. So it was very sensitive to all the community here.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm glad you're as a team together and you could also like be there at that moment, no? Yeah, and I hope like everything is now easing off, no? But I'm sure that impact is still sensitive and still there. So wishing all strength also to the community, no? Cool. In the meantime, let's go to Rio Nazas. We stay in Mexico.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody. I'm Ana Rios, and I was at the Rio Nazas. We were 32 people, and we did like 2,000 observations, and from that we got almost or around 460 species. I think most of the species were common to the place and time. There was only one that caught our attention, which is the white ibis. We are really far from the coast, so the white ibis normal distribution is in the coasts of Mexico, but we saw one individual, and it was hanging around the snowy egrets and other birds that we normally see there. We don't know where it came from, so we don't know. I don't think, or maybe I think there are records like previous years, but long time ago. But it's not a common species to find in our river. On the other hand, we also noticed that there were fewer insects than previous years. It was very noticeable. And we think that it's because we get really, we don't get much rainy days in here. It's a river that it's in the middle of the Chihuahuan Desert. So, but usually the rainy season starts early September. But this year we have not had the usual rainy season. I mean, it just started, but now we are in October. So by the time that we had the BioBlitz, we didn't have many rainy days before. So maybe it was that. We hope it was that and not something more serious. But we were talking about, you know, the importance of having these events, and the people that we participate, like previous years, you can see like the differences, and for now just take notes and see if something is happening or it's just something like seasonal. But we were very happy with what we saw and very excited to have it next year as well. We have children and we have families, and we have also a group of students going there. We believe we need to do some work on because people go and do observations, but not everybody uploads all the observations that they made. But I mean, it's little by little we are working on that. So I think that's it.
Amazing, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, congrats on all those photos. That's really impressive. That's really good photos in there. Yeah, and that's for sure a challenge now. And I, like, even myself find it hard to like really get into uploading data afterwards, because then you're busy again. So somehow maybe even doing that at the event itself already, right? Like, yeah, if somebody has more tips on that, feel free to share or think about it a bit later. We can talk about it a bit now. In the meantime, the river blitz in the Slavyanka River in Russia. Do we have somebody here that's from this Bioblitz? It's like a beautiful place, huh? Really tranquil. And clearly they did a lot of macroinvertebrate research. It's such a cool tool, no? It's easy to just go out and only bring your phone, but there are so many ways to actually dive in a bit deeper, no? Just having this white tray with you makes it a lot easier to see what species live there. You can even see a fish here, that little bottle as well, no? So like, I think seeing those presentations also really helps to get some ideas of how to maybe do next year, and like increased observations. You can do a little more, bring in a net, like it's pretty cheap tools that you could bring to make it easier to do some more observations, no? So thanks for sending this one in. Looks like a really beautiful collage. And that was the last slide already. I just wanted to put this in just to make aware that it's helpful that we've had really good support from NRS and also from the National Geographic Society this year again. And obviously we're doing this together with the iNaturalist app. So that's an important one in it. But okay, back to all of us together. Yeah, cool. This was really, really cool way to get a bit of experiences. Is there somebody that had prepared a slide or that just wants to say something without a slide that hasn't talked yet? Or did I miss a slide? That's possible as well, because this was all pretty last minute that I put them together. Stay silent. So I take that as a no. Antonia, was this a bit helpful for you to start creating a bit of a drawing?
Yes, it's very useful for me, this meeting. I am sorry I'm a bit late.
No.
And I want some things for the illustration, because these illustrations is gonna be a synthetic thing of all rivers. This is so I have two questions for all the people. Maybe if we don't have time to know now, maybe you can send an email or in the chat. I don't know how you are connected, but for me it's important two things. The first one is if you have an image from the top of the river. So for example, if you have an image, because it's not so simple to find it in Google, you know, not always. So if you have like a drawing or some image from the river, like, I don't know if you saw an Humboldt illustrations of rivers, if you can share the screen, maybe you can show that. It's a classic illustration, very beautiful, of the rivers, not all the rivers of the world, but some rivers, and there is the image of the zenithal view of the river. So if you have that image, maybe you not, but if you have that, it's gonna be useful for me. And the other thing, it's I saw a lot of different species of any river, but we don't have that space. So I want to all of the river representatives please choose two important species, and not just because you can decide the emblematic, if you choose them because they are emblematic, or if you choose it for they are in a threat. You understand? I explained myself.
I think
I'm
so.
sorry,
So you want per river, you want kind of two species that were important for that Bioblitz, no?
Important, yeah. That's and one thing more, if you can do it, it's I think of one part of that section of that specific river, and I want to put some icon of the thread, but not a big illustration. So for example, if you have a thread is, I don't know, plastic, just put plastic, but sometimes it's a strange industry of, I don't know, lithium or something like that, and maybe that is not easy for me to understand it, to know that. So if you can help me with that, like an image that represents that, or the a thing that represents what is damage for the biodiversity.
Cool. Yeah, I think with Anya we can like write this a bit in the message, no? So we can also share this. Ah, there you go. Yes, amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be useful for me for the illustrations, and because this is a very synthetic one thing with a big illustration, but I have to have all rivers. And the other things I'm gonna talk it with you and Jens.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll
Sylvia.
maybe I'll add her in the Home River Bioblitz chat group. I'll put this in the Home River Bioblitz chat group, and then they can share the image and everything in the chat. Will be better, more directly.
Hey, Anya, a doubt. So I was a little late. I was pressed for time the last week, so I was not able to create the project. I've just created it, posted the link on the chat. So could you please add this to the Bioblitz project? So it's in Kerala, it's in Chitrapura River. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean it's the iNaturalist project that you haven't?
Yeah, I just created it.
I
didn't get any time to create a project until now. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll share it with Carlos and Jens, who are the iNaturalist wizards. And yeah, perfect. And Sylvia? I don't know. Yes.
Yes. Hello. to everyone. I just share I shared a slide, but I didn't know if you put it because I missed. I think I arrived late to the presentations because I had trouble with my computer and time zones.
Wait, which
So
was
it was Biosamana. It's in Colombia, but I don't know. Anyway, I just want to tell you that we went with a group of river guides. They are kayakers and raft guides. And even when they are continuously into the river, they didn't knew how anything about like macroinvertebrates in the rivers that they work on. So they were like very surprised to find, because we did a lot of macroinvertebrates. We tried to fish, but we were not successful at all. And they were super impressed of seeing all the insects and the life that were in the river. And even just today, I received a text message from one of them who told me, today I went to the river and now I look in a different way the river, because now I know how much life is in it. So I want to thank you for that moment. And I was very happy, and I just want to share that with you. And we were about 30 people also, but we were in a canyon and there was no very good signal of internet. So a lot of them didn't upload the registers at the moment, and then later on they didn't. So, but I think, and what we found is that we have a lot of macroinvertebrates that are not that we can't say which kind of species is, or not even, for some we can say not even the genders. And that is the river. And we were focused more on the rivers, and we found some frogs, some trees were on flowering, so people took pictures of the flowers, and I collect some of the pictures of the people and uploaded from my account. But there were a lot of pictures that were taken by people, but they didn't manage to upload the registers. So for next year, I think we should do like to prepare more the register, to give a more intense class of how to upload the registers. I think that's but it was very, very interesting for us and very enrichful experience. And that was what I wanted to share with you.
Thank you, Sylvia. And just what you say, like taking people and turning around that stone and looking at those macroinvertebrates, it's for people that do this all the time, for biologists and stuff, it's easy to forget how amazing it is for people that just never thought of looking in that way. And I think it's cool, this event helping people to actually zoom in and suddenly be like, oh, this river is quite complex. It's not only fishes, no?
Yeah, most people just thinking fish, and there you can see otters and some other mammals related to the rivers. But it's like, oh my God, there's a lot of microscopic life and a lot of insects that they thought that were completely land related, but they learned that they are freshwater related, dependent.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you very
That's like
much.
a really cool way. Thanks. And again, like it's super cool if there's observations coming through, but most important was that they know that people are out there and they're actually at that moment learning. So cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, for us it was that was the make our days.
Yeah, amazing. Nice. Well, I think then we've had everyone that wanted to share something, unless there's still somebody that now says like, hey, wait. But really cool session, actually, just getting all those images there and getting everyone talking a bit. Thanks for sharing all those experiences. And yeah, maybe you have a few words, because you've been on the social media constantly, especially during that weekend, doing a great job and getting input from all different places in the world. How was that?
Well, social media during the event was crazy. We had a lot of stories, a lot of reels, a lot of interaction. Thank you so much for sharing all the landscape, the citizens' interaction with the river that really engage with the content of the social media. But more of that is that we can share with others our rivers, our local rivers around the world. That it's one of the most important thing, that we can see if there are some similarities or some differences, but at the end we connect all as rivers. And other thing is that I'll share, if you give me the permission, your collage, your photo collage into the social media, in order to share these amazing pictures and all the findings that you had. And we will still share more like content from you that I think you uploaded in the drive. I'll share it again in the WhatsApp group, the links from the drive, so you can upload more videos or photos. Those videos are going to be part for the final video recap from Home River Bioblitz, so feel free to upload it. And that's all from me.
Thanks, Anya. Yeah, cool. I think then we're about to end the session. As you know, there's one last session tomorrow, which is the hackathon. And that we'll use more as a moment to really, like, between each other, dive into your own observations a bit and like discuss a little, okay, what can we actually do with those observations? Maybe it's already valuable to communicate this to policymakers or something, or maybe it's just cool to next year, focus a bit more on this certain species, like just chatting and brainstorming a bit on your own projects. And then we want to like actually dive into the worldwide data and just see what observations we find interesting. I was going through it, for instance, and I was like, oh, there's like 6 different species of kingfishers. That's pretty cool. So we're gonna just do a bit of a hackathon, dive in all those data, and all together the things that we pick out, put that a bit into an infographic or something, so that we can all together pick out the most interesting things that happened worldwide. And in addition, so it might become a bit of a longer session, because we had 2 more presentations, I think, actually planned for today, that were just like Yelena did a presentation about the birds. We had 2 more planned for today, but Jens apparently mixed up the dates a bit, so I think they are planned for tomorrow. So whomever joins tomorrow will also get a bit of that. Cool. Thanks everyone who joined today. Really cool to share. And also always cool to keep sharing those ideas on like, okay, we actually used this tool. I really like the microscope thingies that you just hold up against the light. Those kind of tools are just super cool to improve the BioBlitz a bit that you're doing now. And to, like Sylvia was saying, like to get more people like, oh wow, this is happening now. And yeah, amazing. Thanks everyone. And thanks for your excitement during the weekend as well, during the Home River Bioblitz. And Antonia will be talking. Let's see what comes out from this session on paper. Nice.
Thank you all for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Bye.
See you
See you.
tomorrow.
Yes.
See ya.
Good night from Thailand.
Bye-bye.
Good night, I think. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, good night, Ford.